All right. So we recently watched TV Ghost Hunting is a Scam, which, true. And now we're going to watch You Are an Impossible Machine by Kurzgesagt. You ready? Let's go. Let me just turn this up here. I really like this channel. I've been watching them for years. I also like how they address things that they get wrong. They'll make a whole video talking about it, which I appreciate. But here we go. Boop.
You are cells. Your muscles, organs, skin, and hair.
Yes.
They are in your blood and in your bones.
Yes.
Cells are biological robots. They don't want anything. They don't feel anything. They are never sad or happy. They just are, right here, right now. They're as conscious as a stone or a chair or a neutron star. Cells just follow their programming that's been evolving and changing for billions of years, molded by natural selection. They are impossible machines, and yet, here they are, driven entirely by the fundamental forces of the universe.
I mean, clearly they're not impossible. There's a lot of them out there.
Smallest unit of life, right at the border where physics becomes biology. Sometimes, to get a truer understanding of how amazing something is, you need to hold your breath and dive in really deep. So, what are cells, and how do they work? Look around the room you're sitting in right now. Let's fill it top to bottom with trillions of grains of sand, billions of grains of rice, hundreds of thousands of grapes, a few thousand apples, and a dozen watermelons. This is what the inside of your cells looks like. In terms of numbers, they're mostly filled up with water molecules, the grains of sand. Water gives the cell's insides the consistency of soft jelly and enables other things to move around easily. Almost all the other things, the rice and fruit, are proteins. Several billion in total, more than 10,000 different kinds, depending on the function of the cell. Your cells are basically protein robots, as is all life really. In fact, all solid non-fat parts of your body are mostly made out of protein, even your bones. Proteins are dead things that make life happen. How does this work? The language of life. Cells need to do many very hard things to stay alive. Get food in and waste out, grow and build structures, escape danger or react to stimuli, make copies of themselves, and so on. All of this is done by speaking the language of life. And the words of this language are proteins. This is how this language works in a nutshell. It all begins with amino acids, tiny organic molecules. They're the alphabet of the language of life. There are 21 different ones, like different letters. Amino acid A, amino acid B, C, and so on. If you put around 50 amino acids together, they form a protein, which in the language of life is a word. And if you put many of these protein words together, you get a sentence called a biological pathway.
So am I just like a superhuman because I eat a shit ton of protein? And I see this a lot too, especially with like vegans and vegetarians. They're always downing protein shakes and high protein bars. I mean, it's the same thing with people that work out, but it seems like people need more protein for optimal function. It's interesting. It is interesting for sure.
Let's oversimplify a bit and say, for example, your cell needs to break down sugar with the language of life. It may take the amino acids for the letters B, R, E, A, and K to form the protein word break. Then combine this word with other protein words to form a biological pathway sentence that means break down sugar. In reality, this language of life is so complex that it defies imagination. You need to know about 8,000 words to speak a human language really well. But in the language of life, there are an estimated 20,000. And while the average English word has 5 letters, human proteins have an average of 375 amino acids. The longest protein has more than 30,000.
Why not?
And cells need to execute thousands of steps at any moment.
Yeah, that
if
is
they
crazy.
ever stop speaking the language of life, they die. Okay, but how do mindless cells speak a language this complex? Let's dive a little deeper. There are 21 amino acids that can be combined to form proteins. And proteins are made up of dozens to hundreds to thousands of amino acids. For the average protein length of a human cell of 375 amino acids, you get a stunning 6.8 times 10 to the power of 495 possible proteins your cells can make. A quadrillion Google times more than there are atoms in the universe.
It's crazy that we have even figured this out. I think that science and like understanding literally anything has become so insanely like it's how the hell did we figure this out? This is some crazy stuff. Like, who thought to look into this? And who thought of ways to make it possible to look into this? I mean, obviously, we needed to use machines to do it because there's no way that a human could figure this out without not even necessarily complex machines. Like robots, machines, computers, their thing is numbers. But this is some crazy shit. It's cool. It's fascinating. I love learning about it, but oh my gosh. Wow.
Most of these possible proteins are useless. Just like with human language, most random letter combinations are just gibberish. So you need to know which words, which proteins, make up a language to speak it properly. And this is the job of your DNA, a long sequence of instructions. If you untangled a cell's DNA, it would be about 2 meters long. All of your body's DNA combined into one long string would reach to the sun and back over 20 times.
What?
Around 1% of your DNA is made up of genes, which are basically protein dictionaries that contain all the words of the language of life your cells speak. But genes are also the building manuals for all the proteins your cells need to function. The rest of your DNA is probably not useless, but basically like a set of rules. It's like the book of grammar of the language of life. Which proteins need to be built at which time? How many of them do you need? Which protein words go together and why? Okay, letters, words, sentences, dictionary, and grammar. But of course, this is all just a metaphor for something mind-numbingly complex. Let's dive a little deeper to catch a glimpse of reality. How dead proteins make life. Now that we have some basic principles, we have a chance to understand how dead things make life together. And for that, we need a fundamental force of the universe, electromagnetism.
That is true. He is speaking British. Not even though. I don't believe. Are they British? I'm trying to remember what, like where they're from. I know they made a video about who they are. Are they British? I don't remember. I haven't watched that video in a long time. I don't really think about it, you know? I just watch the channel whenever a new video comes out. Electromagnetism. Actual guys are German? I thought so. Yeah. They have an English voice actor. Oh, okay, that makes sense. Don't they have this channel in multiple languages too, or is that not true? I don't remember. Like other channels in other languages. Yeah. Oh, that's really cool. I know Mr. Beast does that too. That's cool. That's cool as heck. Can we watch it in German? Maybe. Brits sound smart to us dumb Americans? I mean, depends on the Brits that are talking, because not all British accents are created equal.
The elementary particles that make up atoms, which make up amino acids, have different charges that attract or repel each other. The 21 different amino acids all have slightly different charges. Some are more.
All right, Sean, tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong.
More negative, others more positive. When your cells build proteins, they put different amino acids together in chains, basically long strings. Now, because of the different charges of the amino acids used, these strings begin to fold in on themselves. This folding process is so complex that we still haven't completely understood how exactly it works. But in a nutshell, 1D strings become 3D structures. Proteins are basically 3D puzzle pieces with a very specific shape. In the world of proteins, shape is everything. Because its 3D shape determines which areas of a protein are charged in which way, and this determines how it can interact with other proteins. All of these differently charged puzzle pieces can snap together or repel each other. When they snap together, their charge changes, which can make them change their shape, which then makes them a new protein, a new tool that can do new things. This is what makes proteins so incredibly powerful. You can do basically everything with them. They can snap together like Lego pieces to build complex structures. They can dismantle things. They can form complex micro-machines that use energy to do work. And maybe most stunningly, they can convey information. Let's say there's a toxic chemical entering your cell. There may be a protein shaped to snap to that toxin. If the protein finds that toxin, it changes its shape. With that new shape, it can now snap into a different protein that changes its shape again. This new protein activates a micromachine that directly binds to your DNA to order the production of a special protein which acts as an antidote to the toxin. This cascade of interaction is the pathway we spoke about earlier, a sentence in the language of life.
They did a video on the immune system that reminds me a lot of this. And they also have a book about the immune system that I would love to get, actually. It's crazy the stuff that the body can do. I've already seen the immune system video, but I would watch it with you guys at some point if you wanted. Because it is just so friggin' cool. Or you could watch it after stream. I don't care. Watch it whenever, but you gotta watch that video. It is fascinating, the stuff that the body can do that you don't even think about. Like, it almost makes me feel like my consciousness is completely separate from my body. Because I have absolutely no say in what the hell is happening in here. It is just like basically I feel like I am this weird little thing that lives in the top up here, and underneath me is just factories and factories producing the stuff that I need to be alive, that I don't step in those factories. I'm the big boss. I don't know what the hell is going on down there. It's crazy. The body is scary as hell and fascinating. I love learning about this kind of stuff, but my lord, it goes deep. It's crazy the stuff that the body does. I love content like this. I live for it.
So, without a single active thought, proteins have fixed a problem and saved the cell's life.
No thoughts.
In reality, these pathways can have dozens to hundreds of steps. How life operates is so incredibly awe-inducing. Somehow, mind-numbingly complex interactions between dumb and dead proteins create a less dumb and less dead cell. Somewhere around here, life happens, but we still don't know what life is. How dumb things are smart together. We need another analogy, so let's talk about ants. Ants share a fundamental property with cells: they are really dumb. A single ant will just stumble around uselessly. But if you put a lot of ants together, they exchange information and do amazing things.
That's a good
constructing complex structures, organizing themselves, caring for broods, or attacking enemies. Although dumb individually, together they become something greater. This phenomenon occurs all over nature and is called emergence. It's the observation that entities have properties and abilities that their parts do not have.
That's cool as hell.
This is how everything in your body works. Your cells are bags of proteins guided by chemistry. But together, these proteins form a living being that can do a lot of really sophisticated things. Cells are mindless robots that are even dumber than ants, but many of them acting together form specialized tissue and organ systems, from muscles that make your heart beat to brain cells that make you think.
So cool.
If you look outside at the incredible dimension and scale of space, a place where forever is a real thing, it's almost impossible not to feel a bit small, not special. But if you look inside into what you really are, you just discover almost indescribable complexity, the beautiful language of life.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Almost everything in the universe reveals hidden layers of complexity if you look closer, and if you have the knowledge to understand it. To help you with that, we've created a series of lessons to take your scientific knowledge to the next level. Made in collaboration with our friends at Brilliant.org, these lessons give you a deeper understanding of the topics from our most popular videos, from rabies and mammalian metabolism to climate science and black holes. Brilliant is an interactive learning tool that makes maths, science and computer science accessible with a hands-on approach. Because we know that to really learn something, you've got to do it. Think of each lesson as a one-on-one tutoring version of a Kurzgesagt video. Brilliant has thousands of other lessons to explore as well, from maths-based topics like algebra and probability to the concepts behind algorithms and artificial intelligence. If you liked the biology discussed in this video, Brilliant's course on computational biology teaches you many important key concepts. You'll learn about DNA instructions, RNA, and protein folding, then learn how those concepts are used to tackle modern challenges like genome sequencing and human health. To get hands-on with Kurzgesagt lessons and explore everything Brilliant has to offer, you can start your free 30-day trial by signing up at brilliant.org/nutshell. There's even an extra perk for Kurzgesagt viewers. The first 200 people to use the link get 20% off an annual membership once their trial ends.
Within 3 seconds
we
of the
love
video
seeing
going
how
up.
the gears interlock with our research. Brilliant gives you the tools to understand how everything fits together.
Brilliant
The
for their
story of the
algorithm,
human
though.
cell continues with our human cell poster, a visually stunning deep dive into the intricate workings of the smallest unit of life.
Oh, I love
Like
that.
all the sciencey things
That
in
is
our
so
shop,
cool.
it's designed with love and produced with care by us here at Kurzgesagt.
I love that. I love this channel. It's such a good channel. I really do. That's so cool. Man, I love learning about the body. It's so freaking weird. Science in general is just very, very, very fascinating. Big, big fan.